All right, welcome back, Woodstock Guitar Guy. We're gonna talk a little bit about something other than guitars today. We're gonna talk about amplifiers, and in particular, we're gonna talk about this one here, this Fishman Loudbox, I think it's called. Yeah, Loudbox. It's always been a challenge for acoustic guitar players, singers, songwriters. If you're playing in a band with an acoustic guitar, to get a good sound live, like in a gig at a club, or a cafe or whatever. And if you have a PA system that does the house, it's always tricky because you're playing on stage. You're standing up there, and somebody else is having to deal with your sound, and it can be really frustrating. It can be a very sometimes it's great when people really have done it a lot, worked with a lot of acoustic guitars, know what they're doing. That's one piece of the thing. But then there's the other side, which is, hey, can you give me more treble? And you're standing there going, more what? So enter this thing. This is the Fishman Loudbox, which some friends of mine talked me into buying before this gig last weekend. And I got to just say, I'm thrilled. I have to say, you heard it coming in. Going to hear a little bit going out. It's a marvelous, small, compact, loud. It's right in the name, loud, and but great sound for acoustic guitar. It has two channels. It has a line in where you can put your preamp, which I do have. I have a preamp going into the first channel, and then and everything's turned off right now. By the way, I got it all turned off. The other channel, I've got a microphone, and that's this guy right here. It's a very inexpensive condenser mic. So I've got preamp and condenser mic, and then I have a in the sound hole pickup. It happens to be a very good one, but still, I just want to say, I have found, even here in the studio, I have found it very challenging to get a decent acoustic sound with these sound hole pickups, with the piezo under the bridge pickups. It's tricky. So this particular amp really comes into play in a good way because it has, first of all, it has a good sound coming out of its little tiny speakers, but it also has a XLR output on the back where you can run straight out to your house system or into your DAW or whatever you want to do. You can send that signal somewhere else. And the best part is that you are sitting in control of your sound. It's all in front of you. We've got the 3-band EQ, bass, middle, treble. There's a chorus feature in here. There's a reverb. There's gains on both channels, and then there's a master gain, which is really great. And on top of all that, there's and I haven't even tried this yet, a Bluetooth thing. I guess you can set up a click track or something on your phone. You can play along. It'll all come out through the speakers, So I guess if you're busking, and this is not the battery-powered version, but they do make one that comes with an optional battery power. You can take it out on the street and play, why not? It's rated at 60 watts, and it has a 6.5-inch woofer, and it has a 1-inch tweeter. And it's a sealed box, okay? It's not open backed or anything, which is cool. It surprised me. And then, of course, the price is extremely reasonable for an amplifier of this quality. And I just, I picked mine up used for, I think I paid $329 for it, used, here locally through a music store. Just a little side about buying stuff from music stores, or anybody, but music stores in particular. For the most part, they will negotiate with you, and they want to move this stuff out the door just as fast as they possibly can. That's the little secret. They also know what their sales are doing for the month, and they also know what they need to make by the end of the month. And it's just like anything else. If you catch them at the right time, you're going to get a much better deal. Now, if you're not heart set on that particular thing, whatever it is, an amplifier or guitar or whatever, you can, you come in with a lower offer than what they are offering to sell it to you for. Lowball is a term used for like extremely low offers, and that, I can tell you right now, that's probably not going to go anywhere. You're going to be wasting everybody's time. So don't even consider it when you're dealing with a music store or with some guy who's, or gal who's trying to sell something on Marketplace or eBay or Reverb or whatever, But a reasonably lower offer will be considered, and you may actually get a counter back, which is also kind of fun. So they were asking, I think they were asking $359 for this, and I plus tax. And I said, look, I'll come to the store and pick it up. You won't have to ship it. I'll give you $329, or I'll give you 15% off. So that's what we ended up doing. I ended up getting 15% off, and maybe it was like $319. I can't remember. Anyway, it's fabulous. And Fishman, my hat off to you. You really, I think you hit it out of the park with this one. And I'm already very excited to be going through my box of sound hole pickups. I must have about 10 different kinds of pickups here, all trying to find the right sound. I put this one in. I plugged this one in. This is actually a very good one. It's called a K&K double helix that I picked up, and I thought this would sound great, and I was very not so impressed with it. And I've tried a number of different preamps, and I've tried all sorts of different things. And then this amp comes along, this Fishman, and I'm like, wow, this really does it. I mean, they managed somehow, I don't know how they did it, magic, they managed to capture the right juju stuff, for acoustic guitars to be amplified. That's all it does. I wouldn't use it for anything else. I've heard that you could, if you're busking, you can put a vocal mic into one of these channels and sing, I probably wouldn't do that, but I don't busk either. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I just want to say, for a small home studio, or if you're doing gigs, the amplifier itself basically does double duty. It sends a signal out to the house, but it also works as a monitor for you. It's got a little tilt back on it, and you can actually hear yourself on stage, which is kind of an interesting concept too. Acoustic guitar players, famous for not being able to hear yourself on stage with a band. Solo, it's a different story. But so anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. A little bit about sound reinforcement for the acoustic guitar, and I will say I do have a preamp running into this channel, which you heard coming in, you're going to hear going out. And it's a Behringer Ultra 500. It's like a tube. It's a little tube preamp, and it has a bunch of different settings on it. And we'll do a whole separate thing about that, because I gotta say, I bought that and brought it in here, and I was very unimpressed with it. I was like, I'm not doing something right, because I've got all this equipment here. I've got a PA system. I've got beautiful preamps. I've got all this stuff, and I just could not get the sound that I can get in a real recording studio with a couple of condenser mics on it and stuff. So enter the Fishman Loudbox. This is the Mini, okay? There is something called a Loudbox Artist, I believe it's called. It's bigger. It's kind of a bigger amp. If I ever spot one of those for a good price used, I might pick it up, They also make something called a Loudbox Micro, which is a tiny little thing. I mean, I don't have any reason to get one of those. There's a couple of other versions of this out there. One of them, which gets some really good reviews, is a NUX. Nux. Great name for a company, Nux. NUX. They make a version which I haven't tried it, but very similar concept. Sealed speaker cabinets, 6.5-inch woofer. I think maybe they have a 1.5-inch tweeter. But same principle. Those get good reviews as well. And I may try one of those out someday too, just to see what I think. But that's this is a whole new universe for me. I wish I had discovered this years ago, and I want to thank my musician buddies who kind of talked me into it. And I just went looking around, found one used, and picked it up. So there you have it, and I'm happy, because all of my guitars, all my acoustics now are going to sound a lot better here in the studio and out in the, on stage, which is very exciting. Okay. So with that, thank you very much. Thanks for watching, tuning in, sharing, hit join or subscribe if you want to keep getting notice. I try to do one of these every week. Sometimes it's every 2 weeks. And we're going to cover a lot more ground. We've got more guitars to cover. I've got more amps to cover. I got pedals to cover. I got microphones. We can even get into songwriting at some point down the road. You never know. But that's it from here. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. From Woodstock, New York, Michael Veitch.